Well, hello, this is Chaplain Rick. Thank you for watching this video. Appreciate you. Appreciate your comments. Just the acknowledgement that you acknowledge and seen this video, with a thumbs up or letting me know, and just making others aware that this is available for them as well. I always place these videos on my YouTube channel, Chaplain Rick Torado Jr. There you can reach all the other videos as well. Every week I try to bring a segment that will be a little something that's been brewing in my heart. Well, this, let me tell you something. This we can all relate to. And this was, I heard this from one of the speakers this last Sunday, and he spoke on this topic about taming the tongue. Taming the tongue, that little member in our bodies right there, in our mouths. Boy, if we can just tame it, huh? If we could just put a control on it and watch put a break down it before we said something we were going to regret later on, or just this is something that we will definitely regret. I'm gonna tell you something. I every day I got to refrain. I got to meditate. I got to think before I speak. That's it's very important that listen more and speak a little bit less. Right? I talked about that before, but I heard about this humorous anecdote, and I pray that it'll make cause a little humor in what I'm going to say right now. So there's this guy after he was pulled over by a police officer because he was speeding. Okay, he was speeding, this driver, and the driver, the police officer comes over, approaches the driver, and the driver says, "Can you tell me why you were the police officer asks the driver, "Can you tell me why you were driving 85 miles an hour on a 70-mile-per-hour speed zone?" He goes, I think your radar is broken," said the driver. "I had my car in cruise control, well below that, without missing a beat." Another voice chimed in. "Don't be silly, dear," said the driver's wife. "You know you don't have a cruise control." As the officer began writing out the ticket, the man growled at his wife, "Can you keep quiet just for once?" The woman smiled and replied, "Well, you should be thankful that your radar detector went off. When it did, at least you could slow down." The officer then started writing another ticket for the illegal radar detector. The man shouted at his wife, "Will you button up?" The officer frowned and said, "I also see you're not wearing a seatbelt." "I was," said the driver, "but I took it off when you stopped me." In came the wife again. "Now, dear, you know very well you never wear a seatbelt." Oh my goodness. The officer wrote a third ticket, and the man shouted, "For the last time, shut up, you silly woman." The officer looked at the wife and asked, "Does your husband always talk to you like this?" "Oh no," she said, "only when he's been drinking a little." Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Does the tongue get us in a lot of problem? Now here's a wife that wasn't couldn't hold what she needed to say. She just had to say it, not thinking of the consequences that were occurring. Her husband getting more and more tickets. It was going to cost him dearly. But sometimes we're like that one. We just can't control ourselves. We have to speak our mind. We have to say. Some people say there's a saying they have no filter. I think it's important that we do have filters. I believe that for you, if you're a believer and you have the Holy Spirit and you have God with you right there, you should have someone that can help you to control, be that filter, so that before you say it, ponder, think, how is this going to go? How is this going to affect the hearers, those that are around me, my children, my family, my loved ones, my co-workers, those that are surrounding me right now, who I love dearly, but many times with our words, we do so much harm. Well, you know that the ancient book of James in the scriptures in chapter 3 talks about the tongue. If you ever get a chance to read that, I will encourage you to read that chapter 3 of James. And there's a part there in James 3:3 where it says this: if we put bits into the mouths of horses, that thing that pulls the horse back or tells them to stop so that they obey us, we guide their whole bodies as well. Think about this huge horse. We can control it with this bit that they're placed in the mouth. All right. It says, look at the ships also. Though they are so large, and are driven by strong winds. They are guided by a very small rudder, wherever the will of the pilot directs it. Okay, small rudder with this big ship, it'd be able to direct it. So also the tongue is a small member, yet it boasts of great things. How great a forest is set ablaze by such a small fire. It only takes a match, right? To put a blaze, a forest fire. And so the tongue is a fire. The Bible talks about the tongue as being a fire, a world of unrighteousness, of sinfulness, of evil, okay? The tongue is set among our members, staining the whole body, setting on fire the entire course of life, and set on fire by hell. Let me tell you, the tongue can do so much damage, cause so much pain. When the tongue is bent on doing evil and speaking, being harsh, and being with hatred, with anger, when all that's control is being fueled by all that, and then we just spill out, and it's like venom going around, just poisoning everything that it touches. But the tongue doesn't have to be that way. The tongue doesn't have to be that way. The book of Proverbs, the ancient book of Proverbs, speaks of so many great information, so great verses that can just help us to, how can we just be better stewards of what we say, of the tongue? Because the tongue, when it's used correctly and properly, it can be such a blessing. It can be such health to others that are around us. Look what it says in Proverbs 12:25. It says, anxiety in a man's heart weighs him down, but a good word, and a good word, but a good word makes him glad, or makes her glad. When you say something that's encouraging, uplifting, it can be such a blessing to those that are listening to you. Also says in Proverbs 16:24, gracious words are like honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the body. Meditate on that for a while, huh? When words, and also Proverbs 10:19-21 says, when words are many, transgression is not lacking, but whoever restrains his lips is prudent, is smart, is wise. If you can hold back what you need what to say. The tongue of the righteous, of the pure in heart, it says, it's choice silver. The heart of the wicked is of little worth. The lips of the righteous, your lips, your words, feed many, but fools die for lack of sense. And finally, it says this in Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Well, there it is. There it is. Death and life. You want death around you? Then continue speaking those nasty words, or words that are coarse words, or coarse jokes, or offending people, or trying to lashing out with anger, vengeance, with jealousy, whatever the case may be. But if you choose to speak good, kind, be pleasant, helpful to others, encouraging words, then it could be like a medicine to the soul. It could be health to those around you. It could be life to those listeners listening to you and hearing you right now. I pray that you have listened to this and heard these words, and you have taken some notes down, some of these verses, and know this, that you have great influence. You are an influencer. You can speak positive or speak negative. You can speak life or you can speak death. The choice is always yours. You have the choice today. Don't let what's going around you influence you or stir things up. Take a pause, take a breather, and think, what I'm going to say now, is it going to be encouraging or discouraging? Wow. Take this, and I hope you meditate on this. I hope you learn, put something of good information to practice. Be blessed. Take care of yourself. Until next time, this is Chaplain Rick with Corporate Chaplains of America. God bless you. I love you. Be blessed. Bye-bye.